right, our next speaker, placing 6th on Fox's American Idol in 2003, Carmen Rasmusen Herbert has appeared on many talk and entertainment shows, including David Letterman, The Today Show, MSNBC, and Good Morning America. Her album, Nothing Like the Summer, received rave reviews, and her music video won the Pick It or Flick It competition on CMT's Top 20 Countdown. She has authored 2 books, Staying in Tune and You Are More, and currently writes an entertainment blog for the Deseret News. She and her husband, Brad Herbert, are the proud parents of 4 energetic boys, and I'm a member of that club. I know how busy it can keep you, and she is an amazing woman, and I am excited to hear from her. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the stage Carmen Rasmusen Herbert.
Well, I'm so excited to be here tonight. Brad, that's pretty incredible. A 4-minute, 13-second mile. I think I can do it in about 15 minutes, so that's pretty impressive to me. So last year, about this same time, my little boy, Boston, my oldest son, came home from kindergarten with his very first school picture. And I was so excited to see how his picture turned out. Like most moms, I had spent a couple days leading up to picture day preparing. We laid out his outfit, I got him a nice haircut, and we even practiced his natural smile in the mirror, because if your kids are anything like mine, sometimes they count just showing their teeth as smiling. So he comes into the car and he hands me his school picture. And I was so excited. I tore it open and turned it over, and I did not know what to say when I saw this. I thought it was adorable. I didn't know what to say, so I just said, "Oh, Boston." And he said, "I know." Now, at first, I thought he'd say, "I know, I look a little like a deer caught in the headlights," or, "I know it's not the most natural smile that we practiced," but instead, he said, "I know, I look good." I laughed out loud and said, "You do look good." And we hung that puppy up on our refrigerator, and it's still hanging up there now. A few days later, my little sister came over to visit, and she saw the picture, and she said, "Boston, I love your kindergarten picture." And he said something else that surprised me. He said, "I know it wasn't my most usual smile, but my mom thinks I look cute." It hit me right then and there how big of a role we parents play in building our children's self-esteem. Parenting with Love and Logic is one of my very favorite books. And it says, authors Dr. Foster Cline and Jim Fay say, as parents, we play an integral part in the building of a positive self-concept in our children. In our words and through our actions, the messages we give our kids shape the way they feel about themselves. So my little boy, Beckham, loves babies. He's my 4-year-old, and he adores his little brothers. And he even was the one to name our 4th little guy, Benson. And one day, I was getting ready, and I had my little baby Benson in the bouncer, and Beckham was entertaining him. And all of a sudden, I heard my baby let out a scream. And I looked down, and I saw my 4-year-old staring at me with a look of shock and worry on his face. I quickly picked up my baby, and I said, "Beckham, what happened?" And he didn't answer me, so I knew he was guilty. So I picked my baby up and looked him over and noticed some bite marks on his toe. They were just too tasty, and he wanted to see what they tasted like. So I said, "Beckham, we don't eat our brother's toes." And he looked at me, and he said, "Sorry." And I said, "Beckham, that was so mean. You were kind of acting like a bully." Well, something interesting happened after that. My sweet, loving, caring little Beckham started kind of acting like a bully. I noticed that he was picking on his little brothers more. I noticed that he was arguing with them more. I noticed that he was kind of being a little destructive around the house, and I wondered what in the world was going on. Well, in Parenting in Love and Logic, Dr. Foster Cline and Jim Fay say this: "I am what I think you think I am." Because I had been telling Beckham to stop being a bully, it had got ingrained in his brain, and therefore he started acting more like it. Well, I was so worried. I called my mom and pored over parenting books and spent hours on my knees trying to figure out how to sort of undo this mistake that I had made. And I remembered a book from Nicolene Peck, who was at this very parenting conference a couple years ago, woohoo, called Porter Earns a Quarter. She has another book called A House United, and it's all about teaching children to master their own emotions. It's about teaching them to have control over their attitude, especially when it comes to hearing a don't, stop, or no answer. So one afternoon, I got out this book, and I sat down with my little guy, Beckham, and we sat on the couch. And we read the book together, and then we went over the 4 steps to accepting a no or don't answer or suggestion. And they are: step 1, first, look at the person. Number 2, with a calm face and body. That's the hardest, because my boys are always, remember, a calm face and body. Step 3, say, okay. And then the hardest part, step 4, is to let it go and not do it again. Well, my little guy Beckham was very responsive to this. So we role play for a while. Now, Beckham, don't bite your baby's toes. Okay. Now, Beckham, don't pinch your little brother. Okay. Beckham, I'm sorry, but we can't have a cookie before dinner. Okay. Well, the real test came a few days later, and my little guy Briggs, my number 3, was riding a bike that Beckham wanted to ride. So in old Beckham style, he started chasing after him, screaming and yelling and about ready to pull him off the bike. I hurried and ran up to Beckham, and I held his arms, and I said, Beckham, remember, you don't have to be so upset. When something doesn't go your way, you can choose to say, and he looked up at me and said, okay, and I about fell over. I was so surprised that it worked. Now, he hasn't been perfect at this, but I can honestly say during the last couple months, I have seen a return of my sweet, loving, kind Beckham, and I have made an effort as his mom to praise him and encourage him and talk kindly to him, and I've noticed such a big difference. I am what I think you think I am. Time, attention, affection, and approval. They are what every boy needs in abundance, and every girl, from his parents. I can guarantee that if the majority of parent-son interactions are focused around these 4 things, then correction and discipline will work when they're required. That's one of my very favorite books for all of you Snow White moms to all boys out there. Meg Meeker, Boys Should Be Boys. Besides teaching my children that they're in control of their own emotions, something else that has paid great dividends in building my son's self-esteem is what Brad Barton talked about, letting them grow and learn from their failures. And this is probably the hardest thing for me as a mother, because it's hard to see my children fail. It's hard when they don't make it. Well, our oldest boys, Boston and Beckham, didn't try out, but they played baseball this year. I'm not sure if they would have made it if they would have tried out. We had a blast going to their games and cheering them on. It was so cute to see them in their little uniforms with their gloves and try to hit the ball. It was also surprisingly difficult when they didn't. And my little guy Boston played machine pitch, and that ball came faster and harder than my husband or I, for sure me, was able to throw it to him. So he was caught off guard the first couple games when that ball came 30 miles an hour. And it took him 3 games of striking out before he finally made contact with the ball. I remember praying so hard before that 3rd game, please just let my son get on base. Please just let him make contact with the ball even and get a foul or something. Well, he struck out once, struck out twice, and then the 3rd time, crack, he nailed that ball. We were so surprised, and he was so surprised that he started running to the base with the bat, and then he threw the bat down, and then he stayed and tried to take off his helmet, and my husband just kept yelling, go, just go. And so he ran to the base and made it. We were so, so proud of him, probably even more so than if he would have hit it that first time, because we knew how hard he worked for it. These moments, when his best is affirmed, become lifelong touchstones to which a child can return in times of doubt or discouragement. In the past, he did something he was proud of. He has it within him to do it again. From that moment on, my little guy Boston hit the ball every single game and was able to make it on base. He had the confidence and the self-esteem boost to know Like Brad Barton says, he could do hard things. I've learned in the short 7 years that I've been a parent that children naturally want to succeed and they want to please their parents. And our approval and encouragement do wonders for their self-esteem. We are their first coaches and their first cheerleaders. We lead them, we teach them, and we cheer them on. And it's important for them to know that even when they don't hit the ball or get into trouble or hurt their little brothers or do something naughty, that we are still on their team. There's a sweet book that I read to my little boys at night called Who Loves the Little Lamb? It goes, who loves the little lamb? No more crying, here I am. Mama loves her little lamb. Who loves the noisy bird? Sing sweetly, please, you'll still be heard. Mama loves her little bird. Who loves the messy pup? Don't worry, dear, I'll help clean up. Mama loves her little pup, most of the time. Tell me, Mama, is it true? Do you care the whole day through? Even when I do things wrong? Do you love me all day long? Yes, my precious child, it's true. No matter what you say or do, from dawn till after day is done, Mama loves her little one. This is my third. His name is Briggs. We call him number 3. And this is a daily occurrence at our house, some kind of disaster. But I recently read that one bad boy today erases one good boy yesterday, meaning words are very important, but showing love and encouragement through your actions are perhaps even more so. Prove you mean what you say by what you do. Well, having 4 little boys has been quite challenging for me. They certainly keep me on my toes. They're sometimes loud and destructive and smelly, but it's also been one of the greatest blessings in my life. I love them more than anything, even when they take silly pictures, even when they argue with their siblings, when they fail, and especially when they succeed. And especially when they fail and when they succeed, nothing will make me love them less. And I think it's that enduring, constant, never-ending love from a parent that will be a solid foundation for a happy, self-assured child. Thank you.